Welcome to First Take. I am Evan Cohen, in for Molly. Peter Schrager here momentarily. Mike Tannenbaum, Jayden Daniels Jr., all here. Let's get to it. Our very own Jeremy Fowler compiled a list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now, according to NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. Current reigning Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts is ranked 9th on the list. Before the list was released, though, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni had a lot to say on the criticism of his quarterback, telling the Philly Voice, yeah, that's bull. I mean, he plays the most important position in all of sports, and it's the most ultimate team game there is. You name me a team that wins and wins consistently that doesn't have good players around you. Like, you name a coach that doesn't have good players around him that wins. David, is Hurts being disrespected?
Absolutely. Last time I checked, good teams win Super Bowls. It takes a good team to win a Super Bowl. So we are docking Jalen Hurts because he's part of a good team. If you look at that list, everybody on that list has a good team at the top of that. Lamar Jackson, you talk about Josh Allen. Those guys have good teams, but neither one of those guys have been able to get over the Patrick Mahomes hump. Jalen Hurts played Patrick Mahomes twice in Super Bowls and outplayed him each one of those times. That has to account for something. If we're going to talk about why you're on this list, it's not just the stats, it's not just the throwing and all that other stuff. It's about winning. Jalen Hurts is a clear winner. Otherwise, why is Patrick Mahomes number one? Patrick Mahomes is number one not because of the stats. He has the 8th best QBR over the last couple of years. Jackson and Allen and Burrow, people have accumulated better stats than Mahomes. It's the fact that when it's time to win a game, Patrick Mahomes wins a game. Jalen Hurts is absolutely the same. When it's time to win games, he wins games. You can't penalize the guy because he has good teammates around him, because everybody on that list has good teammates around him. Joe Burrow is throwing to maybe the best wide receiver in the league, and he is still right there at the top. Jalen Hurts needs much more disrespect than being at this point coming off of a Super Bowl when we're looking for who is going to beat Patrick Mahomes, and he just did it.
Yeah, I agree with David. If you look at the last 2 of the 3 Super Bowls, hard stop, Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes once in a win, once in a loss. So when you want to talk about greatness and in big games, I give Jalen Hurts all the credit in the world. I was really concerned about his ability coming out. He was a second-round pick because of his lack of accuracy. He was benched in college. He transferred. His completion percentage has gone from 52% up to 68%. We used this stat earlier in the day from Hembo. He led the NFL last year in completion above expectation, meaning he completed passes at a higher rate than should have. Led the NFL. Joe Burrow was second. So when you take a weakness and turn it into a strength, he deserves all the credit in the world. And to me, that is the definition of greatness, when you make those around you better and you turn a weakness into a strength.
All right, so we look at this top 10 list. Peter Schrager, Jalen Hurts, number 9 on that list. Is he being disrespected?
Yes. Yes, he is, but I think this is a product of where he was entering the league, and the same people being polled are the ones who didn't draft him in the first round. They watched him go, and 32 teams passed on Jalen Hurts, including the Eagles, who took Jalen Reagor over him in the first round of that draft. I believe there's a bias against quarterbacks who don't go in the top 10, and we still say, well, it's because of the team. I would also add, I do find it a little surprising, Evan, that Jayden Daniels, after 20 games as an NFL quarterback, is ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts, who has this amazing body of work. And, of course, the other name that is the hot button, especially online after yesterday's show, Justin Herbert, who hasn't won a big game and hasn't shown that he can be that guy in the biggest of moments when Jalen Hurts has. So I don't think Jalen Hurts is as upset about this as we are. I saw a picture of him in Greece with Michael Jordan. I think he's doing just fine. He was celebrating the love of his life this offseason. Like, he's okay. But from my perch and my vantage point, I would think he would be the top quarterback in his division over Jayden Daniels, who has only played 1 season in the league.
So is he an elite quarterback?
Ooh, this goes to the
Yes,
ultimate.
he is. What
How many elite can you have? I don't put him in the same conversation as those top 4 guys. I don't. I think that's fair to say. If there is a tier, if you will, I don't have him with Burrow, Lamar, Allen, Mahomes. Do you?
No, I think those are better quarterbacks, but isn't the definition of elite also partly in terms of like the rings and how well he's played in big games and how he's gotten better, like, where are the holes in his game? If we're being honest and sober of evaluating Jalen Hurts, not when he came out, because I was wrong like everybody else. I thought he was a mid-round pick because of the lack of accuracy. But how he's played in big games, guys, like, what, to me, like, the inverse of that question, Evan, is why isn't he elite? What is he missing?
I think there's a feeling that amongst some, and I hate using this term, and we might go viral for that. The system is so good in Philly. You've got this amazing Jeff Stoutland coached offensive line with all pros all over the place. You've got Saquon, you've got Brown, you've got Devontae, you've got Goddard, that if you dropped in any of those other top 10 quarterbacks, they likely would have the same result and would be able to win on a winning team and have home field advantage, and then you see what happens from there. I think that's unfair to Jalen Hurts. So Dennis was saying, like, you can't hold that against him. That just happens to be where he plays. That's the car that he was given the keys to, and he's doing the best you possibly can with it. I know the Eagles are happy with him. They paid him. I know Sirianni loves him. I don't know if we should be the ones picking apart Jalen Hurts' game like a carcass.
David Dennis Jr., is he elite?
Absolutely. Again, for what I said, if you're talking about those top 4 quarterbacks and all that, if you're talking about who do you want to win a game, who am I putting in a position to win a game, who has showed me that? It is Jalen Hurts. I don't want to hear about a system when you have a guy who had Ben Johnson as offensive coordinator ranked higher than him, when you have a guy throwing to Jamar Chase ranked higher than him. All of these quarterbacks are benefiting from where they are. That's just how it is. There are talented quarterbacks who don't have any talent around them who are not on this list because of that's how the cookie crumbles for these guys. Jalen Hurts is where he is and maximized where he is because of his talent and his ability to win games, whether it's with his feet or with his arm. When I'm talking about who do I want to put in a game to win, I'm going to put Jalen Hurts right there with all those other guys, because when I look at the playoffs, I put Lamar Jackson in those situations. He has not won the same way that Jalen Hurts has. Josh Allen has not won the same way that Jalen Hurts has. Jared Goff, who is above him, has not been winning in those same situations. And Justin Herbert damn sure ain't winning in those situations if you're talking about being put in a playoff situation. Jalen Hurts has done it for multiple years. System does not mean anything to me in this situation.
Similar to David's point, guys, like, the hard part about these arguments is, like, we don't want to penalize Jalen Hurts because he has great teammates. Like, he has done what
we do.
Right, but we shouldn't. That's my point. We shouldn't. We do, but we shouldn't. He's played great in big games, and he's gotten better. Like, what else are we looking for? And again, I said this on your show earlier, but, like, if you're a college quarterback, you want to know what it's like to be a sustainable, great pro? Look at Jalen Hurts. Like, you don't tell me that guy lives in the weight room. Like, there's so much that's inspiring about his game. And you look at this graphic here, like, he's in the prime of his career, and his completion percentage has increased by 16% in the NFL. That's unheard of. So I think he's earned the right to be at this table. He certainly, to Peter's point, he didn't come in. You know, he was at the kiddie table because he, again, was benched. He transferred. But his mental and physical toughness, to me, is great, should be greatly admired.
I'll also give him a pass in the fact he was injured at points throughout his career, and he played through injury. I will say this, though. If you are looking at a big board, and this is not fantasy football, this is real football, and you said we're redrafting the entire NFL, I don't know a single executive who's taken Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Joe Burrow. And if you guys think so, that's your take. I just can't say the word elite and then include a third of the league as elite. I don't think he's in that group. I think he's in that next group. And he might be the 5th quarterback, but I don't have him in that top 4.
So top 5 is in elite?
I'd have him 4.
4 over who? Burrow?
Burrow. What does Burrow have that Jalen Hurts would want? Because Jalen Hurts has got a lot that Burrow would want. Now, Jalen Hurts has a Super Bowl title last year. That doesn't mean they're going to win it all this year. Are they going to win the NFC East? The Philadelphia Eagles, Mike Tannenbaum, going to win the NFC East.
Probably, but gosh, I love Jayden Daniels. I mean, I really like.
Mike's the one who had him in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you just watch Jayden Daniels play last year and you stripped away that he was a rookie and all that, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And if he could stay healthy, which is a big if because of the way he's built, and you hope he never misses a game, Jayden Daniels could be the MVP this season, because when you look at what Washington has done, and give Adam Peters and Dan Quinn a ton of credit, Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Josh Conley, a first-round pick at right tackle, and then, oh, by the way, let's give the ball to Deebo Samuel on long handoffs, jet sweeps, behind the line of scrimmage. Like, this offense is going to be better. And if you look at history, guys, history tells us that you see a big leap from year 1 to year 2. It's the first offseason that they have. We know what Cliff Kingsbury has done with quarterbacks. So, to me, Jayden Daniels like NVIDIA stock. It just keeps going up.
Nice. Jensen Huang, shout out, CEO of NVIDIA, and that is Dan Quinn right now. He is the CEO of that Commanders team. Their stock is through the roof.
Has Jensen Huang and Dan Quinn ever been in the same sense?
As much as I love First Take and Get Up, I'm a CNBC guy sometimes too. Okay, I like to see where the market's going, and the market is ascending for the Washington Commanders. The question is there a book on Jayden Daniels? RG3, his second year, there was a book on RG3. Here's how you stop the read option. Kyler Murray, year 2, there was a book on Kyler Murray. Here's how we can stop him. I question whether the rest of the league catches up to Jayden Daniels. The issue is he did it with his arm and his legs. He might be different than those guys. He might be one where there is no book on him. And I do think they're going to challenge the Eagles in the NFC East.
Hey, just real quick, guys. They're better this year. They are better. Like, the Chiefs are better up front. Like, the Washington Commanders are discernibly better up front. Like, it's an easy, to CNBC's point, to buy the stock because they're just a fundamentally better team than they were a year ago.
Well, David Dennis Jr., is it mad money to bet on anybody else but the Eagles to win the NFC East?
Look, I'm going Eagles here still, but I agree the Commanders are right there. Jayden Daniels, this leap between year 1 and year 2, who knows how far this could go with a better offensive line. And let's not forget, that guy was dealing with a rib injury for part of that season last year. That deep pass was not there as frequently last season as it was when he was at LSU. I think he'll even improve in that aspect. Better protection, better team around him on the offense with that line and adding Deebo Samuel. I think they are right there. History is not on the Eagles' side here when it comes to NFC East teams winning back-to-back. It's been a million years since it's happened, but I still will give the Eagles the edge because of the experience, because of Jalen Hurts. But I think the Commanders are absolutely right there behind them.
All right, so Jalen Hurts was number 9 on that list, but let's take a look again at the top 10. So we have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jayden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Baker Mayfield. Peter, who on this list, though, is placed too high?
I'm going to say Jayden Daniels. I think it's too soon. I know everyone's shocked by that. I think he had the greatest rookie season we've ever seen by a quarterback in NFL history, and he got his team to the NFC Championship game after having the number 2 overall pick. It's unprecedented what he did. I'd like to see the body of work, though. And I know if you're a Jayden fan or a Commanders fan, you're rolling your eyes saying, what do you mean? The body of work was last year. He's going to ascend. We know that. Give it another year before we put him in that conversation. I think what Matthew Stafford has done over the course of his career and what he's coming into in Los Angeles is worthy of conversation in the NFC. I think Jalen Hurts is, and I think Jared Goff. All of those guys could have been rated above Jayden Daniels just because he's only played 20 games. I respect what he's done more than maybe anybody. And before the season last year, I said this guy's going to run away with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Just watch, because of all the stuff I had been hearing from DQ and Cliff all summer. Guess what? They say he's going to be amazing again. Let's see it before we crown him in the top 5 just yet.
Say he's ranked too high.
First, the Jayden Daniels thing, I think that he is right near where he belongs. I mean, I would probably put Hurts above him, but in terms of everybody behind him, I have no problem with that. Jayden Daniels has a legitimate shot to win MVP this year if we're looking at what he can do with that team and how much better they are. For me, the guy that I think should move down, and I hate to say it about Herbert, he didn't do anything. All he did was woke up yesterday morning, there was a list, and everybody's talking about he shouldn't be where he is, but that's absolutely the truth with Justin Herbert. He should not be there at number 7. What have you done in the playoffs? Jalen Hurts, 2 Super Bowl games is better resume than Herbert's playoff resume on its own. Last time we saw him, he threw 4 picks and they had 12 points against the Texans. This guy folded in the playoffs. I want to see, like, we could talk about all of the mechanics, all the stuff that we see on tape, in the pocket on the regular season. Playoff stuff matters here, which again is why a guy like Mahomes is number 1. Herbert has folded in the playoffs, and he was atrocious last time we saw him. I cannot, with good conscience, put him above some of those guys there, especially Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Michelle Smallman on Unsportsmanlike this morning brought up the Justin Herbert gets more benefit of the doubt than any quarterback in the NFL. I know you love him. You loved him coming out of college, Mike. Would you think he's too high, or is there another quarterback that's too high for you?
Yeah, look, this is an important year for Justin Herbert, and everything David said is totally fair, but I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford, right? Dan Orlovsky is out here today.
Make sure.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah.
10 of these guys on the list, Orlovsky calls him as this guy, so it's fine. It's all right. So
Not number 9.
Not number 9, true.
Not number 9.
Yeah, look, I think Matthew Stafford's had a great career, and I think it's close to the end, where a guy like Justin Herbert, to me, with Omari and Hampton and what Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, and Jim Harbaugh, the head coach, want to do run the ball, play action. I think everything the Chargers need and Justin Herbert needs to be successful is there. And I just, again, if we're looking at stocks, I would be buying more of Justin Herbert and selling Matthew Stafford, because Matthew Stafford to me is close to the end. Look, they played really well in that Philly playoff game, but in the end, Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia beat them, and I just think we're closer to the end for Stafford than we are, any of these other guys.
Who's the pets.com of the quarterback class? Who are we running away from?
All right, I need this game to stop. All right, so now we have the quarterbacks on the top 10 list that were left off, right? The snubs, not on the top 10 list. Peter Schrager, which quarterback that was left off that top 10 list should have been on there?
I think Jordan Love should have been considered in this thing. I'm a Jordan Love fan. I know he's had some games where you leave scratching your head, but I thought the injury that he overcame in week 1 on that surface down there in Brazil to get back to where he was after Malik Willis played a couple games, to bring that team to the playoffs last year was impressive. And what he did 2 years ago against the Dallas Cowboys in a playoff game and then against the 49ers, both on the road, I think Love has shown that he can win games, and he has as pure a throwing motion and as little talent around him as any of these guys. So Jordan Love would have made my top 10.
Well, I'm just going to go off of the script where it says Mike Tannenbaum says Jordan Love, and Peter Schrager says Dak Prescott.
Oh, I don't play by the script. Let's go.
Apparently. But here's
Mike's got his first 15 here. He's West Coast offense.
If you take away those 11 interceptions, and you just can't indiscriminately get rid of them, but we had Brett Favre for a year in New York. I see so much of Jordan Love and Brett Favre's game from a standpoint of if you take away 3 or 4 throws this season that Jordan Love gets back, and hopefully based on experience, he has as much ability as any quarterback. I love Love. I think he is uber talented. Matthew Golden was my #1 receiver. I really think this could be a massive year for them. He just has to make 1 or 2 less bad decisions a game, and we're talking about an absolute superstar.
Before we get to David, just overall, can we just make a decision as sports fans and analysts and critics and media members as are we factoring in their teammates or not? Because, you just said, Peter, and it's fair, Jordan Love was throwing to no one. Okay, so that works in his favor. And so Jalen Hurts was throwing to everyone. That works against him. Joe Burrow has the greatest wide receivers in the history of the sport, arguably, and somehow he's too low. Lamar Jackson has no one, then he has someone, and now we don't know where to rank him. And Jayden Daniels has Debo now. So if Debo's good this year, we're going to move Jayden Daniels back? Like, which one is it? I don't know what the argument is anymore as to whether or not, David Dennis Jr., we factor in the weapons and who they're playing with. But obviously, question goes to you in terms of who was snubbed off this list.
I'm just over here shocked. Mike T has been working as Baker Mayfield's agent for the last week, and he does not put him at #1. I'm surprised we haven't gotten that going. I knew he was going to bump Matthew Stafford down because he's been on the Baker Mayfield propaganda trade for a while, but we haven't even mentioned his name yet. But for me, the guy who is not in the top 10, who I think deserves consideration, is C.J. Stroud. And we were talking about people around you. He had the 29th ranked offensive line last year, and he still he turned the ball over a little bit more, but he still had a pretty good season. And they're talking about the sophomore slump. I think that is the thing in the past. This team is better now. They've improved. I know they lost Tunsil, but they've improved the offensive line around him. I think that he'll have some more better weapons. Nick Chubb over there to hand the ball off to. I think C.J. Stroud is going to have a bounce back year. By the end of this season, we'll be talking about him in the top 10 for sure.